Hi, this is Joe. It's that time of year to get ready for the ice road. So I thought I would talk about some of the things that I do to get ready. A little background on me. Somebody handed me a grease gun when I was 14 years old. It was a friend of mine. His dad was a trucker. And so I started greasing trucks and got involved in trucks when I was 14. When I was 17, I signed up to join the Army as an MSE op, which is a mobile support equipment operator, driving. And when I got out, I went right into semi-driving, and I've been doing that ever since. The ice road I've been doing about 10 years, and let's get into what I do to prepare for the ice road. So, winter gear. Most important, you're up there in the middle of nowheres. You want to be prepared. You want to have a balaclava. Gets real windy up there at the mine. So we get that on. Get the eyes right. You want to look like you're robbing a bank. But get this balaclava, believe me. If you don't have a beard, you're going to want this. And even if you have a beard, that comes in handy. Here's a insert for your hard hat when you get to the mine. You got to wear the hard hat so on it goes on the insert. You want a full ghillie suit. That's what I wear. A onesie, not for cozying up to the TV, but keeping you warm. You want a good pair of boots. And what else we got in here? Gloves. Mittens are the best. Get the kind with the fingers so you can actually do a little bit of work. You want 2 pairs of these because one of them is going to get cold, possibly wet. Stick it by your heater so it warms up while you're waiting. Boot cleats here for the ice. You want a set of those. Yeah, a set of those. That's the clothing. Let's go through some of the things for the truck. We're gonna go from just practical stuff, what you should wear, your safety stuff, make sure you're gonna be warm. The next clip, we're gonna look over the truck and go through some of the different things that I've done to get the truck ice ready. This is an ice ready video. So I'm underneath the truck right now. I'm waiting for my spring to come in so I can fix the back end there. And I'm hooking up a belly tarp, which helps keep the engine warmer. And I'll put some absorbent pads, or diapers, I like to call them, on the top there. So if there's any oil leaks or coolant drips, it'll catch them in here and it won't land on the ice or contaminate anywhere where I'm parked. I just finished putting the belly tarp on. If you look in here, you can see it's all underneath here. You can see I got some diapers in there. There's some white ones there for the oil, and there's one in there for the coolant, the gray one. So, like I say, that's for collecting the drips. Something else I got on the front here. That's the winter front. It's you got a good looking peat here. You don't want to be putting that ugly tarp on the front of it. So we hide it underneath. It comes up over the top tank and partially back here over the top of the engine. If I have to open it up, I'll just pull that back a little further. There's only one real hill, Madeline, if it warms up, but in this temperature, it's completely closed off front. Okay, come around here. Something else about getting ice ready. If you look here, I've got these boot insulators. I wrap the fuel filters in. Helps to keep them warm. And underneath this one, if you can see this black Velcro, it's a heating blanket. And it's wired in. You can see the wires underneath here. I've got it wired up to a switch on the dash. And in this temperature, I leave that thing on all the time. It'll warm the fuel that's coming from the tanks into the filter and up through the engine. The return line will spit it back to the fuel tanks, which I have shut-offs. I can separate either side. I don't know. Yeah, you can see here. If you look underneath here, can you see this here? I've got the fuel suction line covered with that water pipes at your home. So I use it to insulate the fuel suction line. Something else I like to do up here on the ice road is ladies' nylons. I don't wear them. I put them over the filters, air intake filters. Up here the snow gets like talc powder, and if you're in a storm, all that snow blowing in there will plug the filters. Not a good thing. Okay, so what I do is I just grab it, but they do stretch. You don't want to get a run in your nylons, boys. This will save you a world of grief. And that's it. Then you got the little legs flapping around. Each truck that operates on the winter road is assigned a winter road number. 197, that's me this year, 2024. And this way they can keep track of the trucks on the road. If there's any violations, we don't want those, but the security's running up and down. They can see your number there, and speed is a big no-no up here, so they can track your number, and you'll get a message when you get back into town. You've been a bad boy, and you could get suspended, or you could, if you're over speeding, you'll get kicked off the road, and that'll be it. It's very regulated up here, and there have been ice problems in the past, not all due to the truck speeding. Sometimes it's just the way the ice forms, but it's very well regulated. Things to be ready for when you're on the road, and you want them quick and easy access. You don't want to be digging through everything trying to find your tools. So when you're on the ice, expect something to go wrong. Usually in cold temperatures, the rubber lines that feed down to the brake pods, they get very cold and brittle. And the flexing of the suspension, especially coming off a portage, quite often breaks those lines. And you'll have air pissing out. Next thing you know, your brakes are coming on. So you got to be ready. So what I do is I usually have a couple of brake lines ready. Get your tools. I got all my tools in here, and they're easy and quick and handy. At minus 30, you don't want to be looking for stuff. Another thing I can do is filters and wrenches. The filters are in the cab where they're warm. They're not getting contaminated with dust and everything else blowing around. Filter wrench, just in case you gotta change them out real quick. Toolbox, easy access, ready to go. You're gonna need 1.25 inches, 1.5. They're all in here ready. I've got the hammer in case the drums and the brake linings freeze. Sometimes all it takes is a good hard whack with the hammer and it'll break it loose. Of course, if you've got nice aluminum wheels, you don't want to be beating on them. I've also got this bar. It's good. You can get underneath there. Just move your dust shield out. Get in there and give it a good hard whack and pry the linings up away from the drums. That way you're not wrecking your aluminum wheels. And I've got here, whole box of caging bolts. And you think, oh, that's a bit excessive. You get out there and you got problems, dude. You're gonna need them. And I've had it where 3-4 of them at a time. Sometimes I've caged off a whole trailer. So you want to have them at the ready, as well as vice grips. These ones here are the best for pinching off the lines. And your torch should be ready. I've got a small, I got the big Tiger torch out here. And sometimes it takes heat to loosen things up. It froze up. Little heat on a valve or something. I don't use that on the valve. I'll have, I've got a small handheld propane torch. I'll use that. And these vice grips are the best. Warm up the line a little bit, pinch it off with these flat ones, and you're rolling. One of the things I do up here is when I'm fueling up, I'll put a splash of diesel on the fifth wheel. The grease up here can solidify so much that, especially when you're deadheading, coming back from the mine, the trailer won't turn with you. The grease gets that thick and that hard that it won't easily flow. So I'll throw a splash of diesel on the fifth wheel when I go to fuel up, and that'll mix with the grease that's on there, and it'll be a better combination. Spill kits. Have it ready. Easy access. If you have a spill on the road, coolant leak or diesel leak, have a spill kit ready, accessible, so you're not digging around and diesel or coolant is laying all over the ice. Up here it's very environmentally friendly, you want to say. They want to make sure that when we leave the ice road that there's no contaminants. So have that spill kit ready. It'll really work good. And get rid of those spill kits with the plastic yellow bag. They dry up and they crack, and then your components of the spill kit are all over the place. Inland Kenworth sells these with a canvas bag. Excellent. Good job, Inland. Okay, something I do before I leave, just before I leave, is I do a fresh oil change all the filters, check over the belts and everything, check the coolant lines. You're basically checking everything. This is an intense pre-trip that's going to last for 2 months. So you don't want a coolant line leaking or splitting on you. So oil change right away. I'll bring an extra set of filters and oil, so I'll do an oil change up there at some point, because the truck's running 24/7. So at some point up there, you want to get that oil out, get some fresh oil in there. So extra filters, you want extra fuel filters, especially because it can happen where you get frozen fuel, it gels up on you, and you want to be able to change them. And have those filters at the ready. Have your filter wrench at the ready as well. That's important at minus 40 or 50. You don't want to be searching for those things. Those are basic. Change them out quick. I always, coming into the winter, I will change the air dryer filter and the plunger. Keep the plunger or have a spare and some Vaseline to lube up those O-rings. If the spitter valve starts messing up, you want to be able to change that. You don't want to be stuck there with the air pissing out on the truck there. Fan belts, which I mentioned, keep the old ones. Break one, you want to be able to change it out. Something else that you want to have is a tiger torch. Make sure it works before you take it out there. Also, you want to bring a bucket of brass. Probably going to break a line at some point. You want to have some brass at the ready. Speaking of buckets, you want to bring a honey bucket with you. It comes in handy in case there's something dripping or leaking, or in case you're dripping or leaking. You want to fill that up, but have a plastic bag inside the bucket so you can clean it out, and that'll work out a lot better for you. This is my old cab over. I drove it many years up on the ice road, but I got a motor problem, so it's parked for now. Some of the guys were asking, hey, where's your truck? Where's your truck, Flat-Nosed Joe? Some of the guys were calling me that, but that's what happened. The motor got an issue, so I've been driving the blue Peterbilt, which is a nice truck. It's got the twin sticks in it. It's kind of fun to drive. Also, mechanical engine. This one's got a mechanical cat, as does the Peterbilt. Something else I should mention too, with those mechanical engines, they work way better up on the ice than the new electronic ones with all the, well, you know, electronics and sensors and the DEF fluid that can screw you up. But if you are driving an old mechanical with the cat, I always carry fuel shut off with the tit cut off. This one's a B model, works in the B and the C. It's good to have a spare one. At least you can change it if that solenoid malfunctions. You can change it out and keep that engine running. Just swap it out, and it won't shut off I had to save a guy one time because that exact thing happened to him. The fuel solenoid quit on him, and I had a spare, just stuck it on, got him going. By the way, this is a 53 Bullnose Kenworth. I'm the third owner of it. It was given to me by the widow of my ex-boss. I drove for him for 10 years. When he passed away, his wife gave me that truck, which Herb had bought in 1955. This is a 62 cab over Freightliner. It's got a 250 Cummins, the old 5 and 4 in there. This one over here had a KTA for some of you guys, old school guys. This Freightliner here in 1980 was an old commercial truck. Had a KTA in it, and that motor is actually now in my son's black Peterbilt, which you saw on a different video. So I hope this video was informative, or a waste of time if it was, I don't know, but I thought I'd do something for some of the people that ask about ice road trucking and what it's like. So if you have any questions or any comments, I'll do my best to try to answer it. Thanks for showing up. See you up north.